Yo, what is up, everybody? We got some Madden 16 draft champions going on, and this is actually going to be a full draft in this video. And in the first round, we have Russell Wilson on the board. But you know what? I'm not a big fan of Russell Wilson this year. I'm not a big fan of the way he misses a lot of open throws, so I'm kind of leaning towards Ryan Kerrigan. He's an elite. He's a great outside linebacker to help show up the run, and he can make a few plays in the passing game as well. So we actually go with Ryan Kerrigan in the first round. We'll see if we pay for that. Right away, we have a chance to get a quarterback in Stafford. I do like Stafford. And Fred Jackson will probably pass on him. I think I'd rather play with Joseph Randle than play with Fred Jackson, to be honest. But we actually take Ron O'Leary here. I do draft offensive linemen, guys. There was just that one draft where I decided I didn't want to draft any offensive linemen. That was just the way it went for that certain draft. So, third round comes up. We have an interesting choice. Alden Smith is the only non-elite guy, but I'm leaning towards taking him. I don't exactly need a JPP in the middle right now. But Alden Smith rushing off the edge, pairing him with Ryan Kerrigan, I like the idea of that. So we pass on Bethea, we pass on JPP, and we take Alden Smith. So far this is a very interesting draft. And now we get to round 3. Definitely not taking James Harrison with the way our outside linebackers are already set. So we actually take Michael Kendrick. So our linebacking core is already set for the rest of the draft. We don't have to worry about that. Second left guard on board comes up, so we're not going to take him. Not really feeling Greg Hardy, so Dontari Poe, the highest rated overall guy, might as well take him. Definitely got that strength factor. What's that, like 90-something strength? Way above average. So we're going to take Dontari Poe to try to stuff up the run. I'm not going to do too many full drafts. I just want to show you guys this one, because I felt like this was one of my better drafts and one of my more interesting drafts. So I figured I'd show it to you guys. The game will be coming up tonight. Julius Thomas, I felt like was a pretty, sure point pick on that thing, because we needed a receiving threat eventually. So I took Julius Thomas. We don't even have any wide receivers right now. This was a very interesting pick, because all three of these guys will be able to help our team out a lot. You guys know I like that cornerback spot, so I had to go with Desmond Trufant. Trufan's definitely got some pretty solid stats, so we take Trufant over Harrison Smith. I really want to take Harrison, but we just had to barely lean toward Trufant. And here, another interesting choice. We either take Casey, or we could go with Vontae Davis, Chris Harris Jr. I'm thinking I'm going with cornerback. I just don't know which one. Now, the popular choice would probably be Vontae Davis with the height factor, but Chris Harris Jr. is kind of the same height when you think about it. So, I actually went with Chris Harris Jr. here. We'll see how that works out. Even though Vontae is an overall higher, I figured, let me try out Chris Harris Jr. and see how he does. Round 9 comes up. We don't have a running back or a quarterback, so rather than getting a safety right now, I figured, what? Let's just make sure we have one of those two positions filled up. Let's get Jonathan Stewart. Now we got to make sure we get an offensive line for him, especially since we don't have too many receiving weapons right now. And here we go. Quarterback, offensive lineman, tight end. How are we going to build this draft? Are we going to beef up the offensive line for Jonathan Stewart? Are we going to try to get a second receiving threat? Because right now Julius Thomas is our only guy. But it's another tight end, Martellus Bennett. But at the end of the day, I'm leaning towards Martellus Bennett. I mean, I don't really want Alex Smith, all right? I'd rather just rock Sanchez and take another position. So we actually take Bennett. Interesting draft. Like I said, I felt okay about the draft, but it was a really interesting one, so I wanted to show you guys this. Usually, I'll just put the draft and the game in the same video. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section, how you guys want to see that structure. So here, round 11, we got to take an offensive lineman here, which I'm fine with. We need an offensive line for Jonathan Stewart, especially since we don't have a quarterback yet. So we take Kyle Long, one of the best pulling guards in the game, 82 overall. So we have our guard position locked up right now. The interior is looking all right. We get to round 12. We already have 2 good cornerbacks. So we're not going to take Jimmy here. So it's either Sheldon or Glover Quinn. Now, we already have Dontari Poe, so he's already kind of a run stuffer. Sheldon Richardson, I have to say, kind of, similar player, even though he's a right end. So I take Glover Quinn here. We need someone at the free safety spot, so we got Glover Quinn out there. Now, round 13, once again, Dontari Poe and Geno Atkins, pretty similar players. And I would take Upati to help the offensive line, but we already have 2 guards, so I gotta go to Antonio Gates here. Our only receiving threats are tight ends, but we'll work around that, move some of them to wide receiver. Because as you guys see, we are not getting wide receivers in this draft, so it's a good thing we took those tight ends, so we have someone to throw the ball to. Unfortunately, I don't know who's gonna be throwing the ball. We take Searcy in the 14th round, so in the legend round, I'm hoping for Elway. Instead, we get Bruce Smith, Dimitri Dawson, and Okoye. So we're not going to take Okoye here since we have Jay Stewie. It's either offensive line or defensive line. Which pick are we going to take? I'm leaning towards Bruce Smith here, but I'm thinking, since we do not have a quarterback, we need to have a good offensive line. I'd rather do that And we already have some great outside linebackers, so, you know, pair them up with Dante Repo. I feel okay about that. I mean, our defense is really good. We have a lot of picks on the defensive end. We need a little bit of help on offense without the quarterback of Mark Sanchez is going to start. We can allow Jace Stewart to get yardage, so we actually take Demetri Dawson in the final round. Like I said, I felt pretty good about this draft. It's not the best draft you'll see, but it's definitely a pretty interesting draft because our secondary is almost shut down. Our receiving core is full with tight ends that we're going to have to work with. Decent offensive line, no quarterback, and a good linebacking core. So the game will be going up tonight, so we'll see how it works.